Identifying the external and internal parts of a common cockle. Local name Bangkan, English name common cockle, scientific name Cerastoderma jolie. Good day, ma'am. I'm here to identify the external and internal parts of a bangkan or a common cockle. First, I will identify its external parts. This one is the left valve, the right valve, umbo, the ligament. This is the dorsal, the ventral. This one is the growth line. This is the radiating scales. I will remove this first to locate and identify its internal parts. I will identify the internal parts of a common cockle. This is the foot, the posterior and interior muscle, this one is the stomach, kidney, siphon, this one is the mantle, this one is the gills. Part is what we call gonad. This is the foot. At the base of the visceral mass is the foot. In species such as common cockle, it is a well-developed organ that is used to burrow into the substrate and anchor the animal in position. In scallops and mussels, it is much reduced and may have little function in adults both in the larval and juvenile stages. It is important and is used for locomotion. This is important in species such as mussels and some scallops, enabling the animal to anchor it in position. This part is gills. They are large leaf-like organs that are used partly for respiration and partly for filtering food from the water. Two pairs of gills are located in each side of the body. At the anterior end, two pairs of flaps, termed labial palps, surround the mouth and direct food into the mouth. This one is a mantle. The soft part are covered by the mantle, which is composed of two thin sheets of tissue. Thickened at the edges, the two halves of the mantle are attached to the shell from the hinge ventral to the pallial line but are free at their edges. The thickened edges may or may not be pigmented and have free folds. The stomach. The large gills filter food from the water and direct it to the labial palps, which surround the mouth. Food is sorted and passed into the mouth. A short esophagus leads from the mouth to the stomach, which is a hollow chambered sac with several openings. The stomach is completely surrounded by the digestive diverticulum or gland, a dark mass of tissue that is frequently called the liver. An opening from the stomach leads to the mock-curled intestine that extends into the foot in the clumps and into the gonad in scallops, ending in the rectum and eventually the anus. Another opening from the stomach leads to a closed sac-like tube containing the crystalline stuff. Kidney. Liquid waste from pericardial cavity enters kidneys, where reabsorption and secretion of nutrients or ions takes place. Kidneys are also able to remove heavy metals from blood.
Interior and posterior muscle.
At the interior end, two pairs of flaps termed labial palps surround the mouth and direct food into the mouth. At the base of visceral mass is the foot. Gonad. The gonads are located close to the intestines and either open into the nephridia or through a separate pore into the mantle cavity. The ripe gonads of males and females release sperm and eggs into the water, what we call the umbo. The raised portion of the dorsal margin of a shell, also called the beak. In a brachipod, the umbo is the posterior part of each bulb. In a bivalve, it forms the dorsal part of the shell. This is the ligament, as well as connecting the two bivalve shells together at the hinge line. The ligament also functions as a spring, which automatically opens the valves when the adductor muscle or muscles or that close the valves relax.
The dorsal.
Dorsal is the side or edge with the umbo. The more dorsal opening is the encorynesiphon, where waste and water live.
This one is a ventral.
The lower or bottom edge of a shell. The ventral tube is the encorynesiphon that carries water into the clump, and the more dorsal tube is the excorynesiphon, where waste and water.
This one is a left valve.
The left half of a mussel shell, which can be identified by orienting the shell with a hinge facing up and the anterior end forward or away from the observer.
The right valve.
The right half of a mussel shell, which can be identified by orienting the shell with a hinge facing up and the anterior and forward or away from the observer.
One is a growth line.
Concentric lines on the outside of a shell that indicate periods of arrested growth. Extended periods of growth arrest occur during winter, forming darker or thicker growth lines.
This is the radiating scales.
The outer edge or circumference of a valve when laid flat.